It's time to take another look at a bunch of DBD myths sent in by you lot, as well as revisit a couple from the previous video. For making mistakes in videos, which given the nature of my content happens quite frequently, give a quick look to see if anyone else has pointed it out before doing so yourself, please, as otherwise I have to wade through literally hundreds of the same comment to find the stuff you guys actually want me to cover next. If you do have any ideas or indeed corrections, then please chuck them down below, as I'm going to be aiming to make this a long-running series, maybe once every couple of weeks. So let's start by looking at two from last week. Number 1. STARSTRUCK works with the Grandma's Heart add-on. In my last video, we tested whether or not triggering the Hag's trap would also trigger STARSTRUCK's exposed effect if she was carrying a survivor elsewhere on the map. It didn't, and many of you pointed out that what you hear after triggering a trap isn't a terror radius, but is actually chase music. The add-on Grandma's Heart, however, sets the Hag's terror radius to 0 meters and the trap's terror radius to 16 meters when that trap is triggered. So will this work with STARSTRUCK? Number 2, you can hook a survivor before DS is used. The first myth in my last video stated that you cannot hook a survivor before DS is triggered. A lot of you were, honestly, weirdly enraged by this conclusion, but it is a fact that with stable ping and after the 4.5.0 UI updates, you cannot hook before DS. With an unstable ping, however, the skill check will trigger late and you may indeed succeed it after being hooked. Obviously, this isn't intentional gameplay design, however, so I'm sticking by my first conclusion. However, the perk Fire Up allows you to pick up survivors 4% faster for each generator that's been completed, so a maximum of 20% faster speed. Does this allow you to hook before a survivor can complete DS? So those are the two corrections from last week, and before we move on to some new ones, I want to talk about this week's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is a game that you've absolutely heard of before, and if you're anything like me, you've never actually played it. Well, I gave it a go, and I am genuinely really impressed with what the game has to offer. Raid Shadow Legends is a turn-based MMORPG available for both mobile and PC. It has over 500 champions of unique playstyles, hundreds of artifacts to equip, and is filled to the brim with raid bosses, dungeons, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches. If you know anything about my content, then you know that I'm a big fan of min-maxing things. That's kind of the whole thing that I do here. And whoo boy, does Raid have a lot of stuff to min-max. In fact, it's considerably deeper in RPG mechanics than I expected, and if you're a stats kind of person, then you can spend hours thinking about which champions to take into battle and which artifacts to give to which character. Now, Raid is a game all about champions with specific character traits and abilities, and my favorite so far has been Elhain. Elhain was the first champion that I got in the game, and I'm just a sucker for bow-wielding characters in fantasy games. And her ability, Lightning Arrow, allows you to attack one enemy and then all enemies, which is super useful in a pinch. These are the graphics on a free-to-play mobile game. There's animations and particle effects, and it's very well done. It's very well put together. This month, Raid are releasing 11 amazing new champions and also released almost 200 brand new missions to complete with an exclusive legendary champion as your reward if you manage to finish them all. And if that's not enough, they also added 5 tough new levels to almost every single dungeon in the game. So if you want to check this game out while supporting my channel, you can download Raid from the link in the description and in the pinned comment. And once in, you can find me under the in-game name Pebsie. So check out the link in the description and I'll see you in-game. Right, on to DBD myths. Number 3, haste effects, walking and crouching speeds. This was sent in by Fags. The haste status effect means that your movement speed is currently increased and can be applied through a variety of perks and even some item add-ons. But does it count towards walking and crouching speeds? Number 4, you can see scratch marks from diversion when using Fixated. This was sent in by Brian Canales, confusing names today. Diversion allows you to throw a pebble, creating an explosion from scratch marks where it lands. Fixated allows you to see your own scratch marks. But do you see the scratch marks from diversion when using Fixated? Number 5, AUTODIDACT causes Stakeout to lose a token. This was sent in by Sheriff Nancy. AUTODIDACT changes skill checks to not have a great success zone when healing other survivors. It does this because its effect gains tokens and applies itself based on these skill checks. Stakeout, however, gains a token for every 15 seconds in the killer's terror radius and consumes a token when hitting a good skill check to convert that good into a great. But does Stakeout consume a token when AUTODIDACT throws a skill check? Number 6, Fixated shows scratch marks closer together when the killer has Predator. This was sent in by Mihai Damien. Predator is a killer perk that causes scratch marks to spawn considerably closer together. But does Fixated show this difference compared to scratch marks without Predator? Number 7, Monstrous Shrine can cause Deliverance to not work. This is sent in by quite a few different people, actually. Monstrous Shrine causes self-unhook difficulty to be increased by 15% for a gamer hooked in the basement, whereas Deliverance causes your self-unhook attempts to succeed 100% of the time. Will Monstrous Shrine prevent Deliverance from working? No, it won't. I can't really show this in any meaningful way, but it won't. One way I thought of describing it is by saying that increasing 0% by 15%, that is the difficulty of escape, is still 0%, but that doesn't really stand up mathematically because 15% more than 96%, that is that the default difficulty of escape is over 100%, but just trust me, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Sorry, everyone. And finally, and this is the big one for this week, the Blight's thrown syringe can injure survivors. A couple of people have suggested this, including a few Blight mains, and it seems like a bit of an oddity to me. Why would what amounts to a decal effect cause injury? I was going to totally dismiss it, but given the number of people that have asked, maybe there is some weight to it. So, let's see, shall we? After a dash, the Blight hits himself with a dose of something, presumably blighted serum, and dismisses the syringe. So there you have it, 8 more DBD Myths Busted. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I read every single comment, so please stop being mean to me. Today's question comes from Bobby, who asks, what killer and survivor do you want for the Resident Evil chapter? I've answered this a few times on stream, but it gets asked several times an hour, so here you go. I have no attachment to the Resident Evil franchise whatsoever. I couldn't tell you the characters. I've never played it. I can even give you an outline of the plot. It has something to do with zombies or something, right? That said, I am really looking forward to the chapter. When Stranger Things came out and then when Silent Hill came out, we saw some of the biggest spikes in Dead by Daylight's player base in the game's entire history. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit player numbers even above 100,000. So that's going to be extremely exciting. They're going to be pulling out all of the stops. This DLC has probably been in the making for more than a few years. Think about it like that. A big license like this, it's going to have been at least 6 months, probably more likely more than 12 months, maybe even 2 years. This is a big deal. It's one of the biggest chapters Dead by Daylight has ever gotten, and, you know, I'm just a layman saying that. The devs know how important and pivotal this moment is going to be for the future of Dead by Daylight. So there are some really exciting things to look forward to there, and I can't wait for the update to come out. So the names on screen right now, I'd like to thank my patrons Pigeon Toast, Spikey Pro, and Luca, as well as Jen Rush's Club and members of the entity members, Merciless Cheeseburger, Santi Gamer, Spikey Pro, Joshua Daney, Alia E, KK and the Cat, Lewis Hernan, and Aaron Hutchie. And also Dapper, who joined after this voiceover was recorded. Thank you! If you would like early access to my videos, as well as emotes in the comments, and if I ever do live events, which I may do on YouTube at some point, also a cool penguin badge next to your name showing off how many months you've been a member, then hit that join button and join us. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. But it will have been a year since our last new map, so Emily is dumb. Rest in peace, my points. I guess Emily is dumb.